My name is Paul Cook and I'm the creative lead at MMG Events. And today's hybrid event tip is to get a virtual host. Have a virtual host. Spend the money. They are worth their weight in gold, honestly. And I can tell you why, because I've worked with virtual hosts over a number of hybrid event programs, and they really do bring the virtual attendees into a whole new level of engagement. Now, what is a virtual host? Well, it's somebody that directly connects with the virtual participants. How do they do that? Well, usually they're at the venue and they will be maybe next to the production company that are putting this thing together, and they'll be there. They will be in the plenary room and they'll be able to see what's going on, and they will also have their own little setup where they can connect with the virtual attendees, but also with the crew, the technical crew, and with the client. So if a client come along and say, I need this to happen, can you sort this out? Yes, they can do that. Now, why are they useful? They're useful because they can bring in signposts, and they can talk like I am to you right now and say, okay, we are going to start in the next 5 minutes or so. They can give you a sense of what's going on. They can signpost what's coming up, just like on the news. So the news will tell you what's coming up, and then it will deliver the news, and then it will give a roundup. And the virtual host can do exactly the same thing as well. But they are also there because they will be getting a sense of what's going on. If they are located in the main venue room, they can talk about the energy that's coming into the room. They can talk about some of the things that are going on, maybe some of the things that are out of shot for your virtual attendees. So they bring the energy of the room into the virtual attendees, and they can help the attendees make the most of understanding how they can get involved. That means they can work through, this is the app, this is the way it works. If you go here, you can send a question in. If you go to chat, you can do this. They can go through it. They can give the demonstration of what that looks like. And they can have these questions that come to them, and then the virtual host can actually feed them into the live event. They can feed them into the in-person event, into the hybrid event seamlessly. And that's just great. I always remember some years ago that I was attending a hybrid event. I was online. I was in my house in Surrey at the time. It was an event over in New York. And I was like super excited to be there, even though for me it was 6 o'clock in the evening when it all kicked off. It didn't matter. I was like, yep, this is great. And they were starting, they had the first speaker on, and the speaker gave their thing, and they said at the end, have we got any questions? I thought, yes, I've got a question. And I sent it in. So I literally sent my question in, tapped it down the wire, and didn't really expect anything was going to come back. Why would I? I'm just one of many. And also, I might be ignored. I don't know what happens. Anyway, the virtual host picked it up, and she said to the room at large, yep, I got a question from Paul, and he's asking this. I can't tell you what the response was to my question because I was so in awe. I was like, wow, this is great. This really means that we can engage people into events in a way that we haven't done before. This is going back a number of years. So it's now more commonplace that virtual attendees are asked questions, and the virtual host is a great way of being able to do that. And also dealing with any maybe technical queries they've got, but also they can fill in time if they know what's coming up next, and maybe there is a reason why the show is starting later than intended. Maybe the first speaker has got held up. So the things that virtual attendees might be considering, well, this isn't happening. What's going on? I'm about to disappear. If you've got someone talking to them, that's great. You do have to tell them, you do have to tell your virtual host everything in your program, so they know exactly all of the times that things are coming in. They also know who the sponsors are. They know who the speakers are, and that is invaluable information to them because, again, it can form part of their commentary, and that gives another dimension to the virtual attendees, so they get a sense of where this event is coming from, what it's like outside, what's going on next, who the speakers are, that maybe there's a bit of back history that isn't shown to everybody, but the virtual audience can get that through the virtual host. And a virtual host is absolutely great for behind the scenes interviews, so they can bring a speaker off of the main keynote stage, and then they can have a little chat, and that little chat can be going on whilst the in-person delegates are going off for a tea or a coffee or a refreshment break. Meantime, the virtual attendees get something that those people haven't got. So really important to really make the most of a virtual host. And the good ones really just embed themselves into your event. They want to give the virtual audience a great time because by doing so, they know know that they will be asked back to do other work of a similar nature. So virtual hosts are worth their weight in gold. That's why what I said at the start, and that's what I still believe today. So have a look at what a virtual event host does, and then have a consideration. If we really want to seriously engage our virtual attendees, we need one of these people.